Welcome to the Connected Kidz Podcast. My name is Josh Davison. I'm one of the co-founders and head coaches at Connected Kidz. The purpose at Connected Kidz is to help parents and practitioners master the fundamentals of the Melillo Method so they can help their children or clients with autism and other neurological conditions, to give you the tools, knowledge and confidence that you need to start making a difference today. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to another episode of our podcast. My name is Josh. I am one of the co-founders and coaches at Connected Kidz. Today, I've got a really good friend here on the podcast with me, Gene Handyside. Say good morning, Gene.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
And where are you chiming in from?
I'm driving in from North Brisbane.
And I'm on the Gold Coast here. It's a little bit warmer up there, so it's cold down here.
Nah, it's pretty cold here too, to be honest.
So Gene and I have been friends for a really long time. We've been through a number of chapters of our life together, but we seem to always weave in together, no matter what we're doing, family or business or things like that. I'd love you to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. You've got a number of hats that you wear. Can you tell us about what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so currently right now I am a registered counselor. So I do counseling, coaching, and also behavior support practitioner, as well as I own a support company through the NDIS. So we provide support work for participants who are on the NDIS, but specifically the clients we work with are mainly young children, anywhere from around 5 years old and up to 12 years old. We do have older participants, but that's mainly sort of our niche. I was talking about this to my business partner, Bella, but we didn't really find our niche. Our niche sort of found us. We sort of started off with a few, and then we kept getting referrals for the similar clientele, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with us. And when you tell people what you do and the age group and the demographic that you work with, I'll either say one of two things. Wow, that must be really challenging. And that must be really rewarding, which both are true. How have you found it?
Yeah, definitely, but both very true. Also, where I notice a big gap is more just the parents. They really are trying to do what they can for their kids, and they're feeling a little bit stuck. And they have all these different therapies going on, but how does support work play a role in that? And so, my business partner Bella, although she's not here, she actually has a psychology degree, and she's also a behavior support practitioner as well. So we have this like therapeutic lens that we like to use it within our business. And so when we actually match our support workers to who they're going to be working with for that reason, because we want to match skill set, interests, and also an awareness of understanding of the disabilities and train up our support workers to help out those clients as well.
Yeah, I can imagine that would work really well. I was just thinking with clients that we work with, you can tell a big difference when a family has a good support worker, and it's hard. I'd say when I speak to a parent about it, they'll normally say that they've tried a few and it didn't work out. But when they've got a good one, the kid looks forward to it and, they can help with lots of things, including the therapy that they go through. So you must see a big difference when you can match that right support worker with the right client.
Yeah, actually, I spoke to a parent this morning, coincidentally, just to review how everything's going. We've been with them for a few months. It's only 4 hours a week. And I actually got some really good feedback. And one of the things she actually said this morning was that she's seen more growth in her child with a support worker than she has with her son, who is, I believe, 6. And so he's been going to therapy since he was around 2. He's ASD level 3. And she's been able to see his increased ability to social interact. She even now says that he uses the playground for what it's used for, where before he never. And that's only really seen a change literally since the support workers come in. And we match that specifically because we have a very therapeutic support worker who's used to working with ASD level 3 nonverbal young people. The kids seem to be really calm around that support worker. To be honest, he's our most sought after one, to be honest. And so it was really cool to hear this morning the difference that actually, she's like, it doesn't even sound like my son when he's describing it. And then she goes out, takes him to those places, and now he's interacting differently because he used to sort of interact socially where if he had people around him, he would sort of maybe be aggressive towards them, where now he's not. And she's being able to see that consistently. And also someone that's not mum, that he's around constantly, that is another support for her as well. Just some great feedback we heard this morning.
That's amazing. It shows you the importance of relationships, which we all know, right? When we've got a good relationship or we've got many positive relationships, it flows over into all the aspects of our life. And I love the approach that you have. I've never heard that with another support worker business where you've got therapeutic lens that you both come at with your training and your expertise, and you're able to match the client with, because of your knowledge, to the right support worker. So that's awesome that you're doing that. And thank you for what you're doing. As you would have found out, there's some great people in this industry and there's some really not great people in this industry. Doesn't seem to be much in the middle. And I know because of our time and our relationship that you're one of those really good people. So thank you for the difference that you're making.
Cheers. Thanks for that.
So I'd love to know, like I said, we want to give practical tips to whoever's listening. You've done a lot of study, you've had a lot of expertise in this area. So for those who are listening, is there sort of like one or two tips that you find are the most helpful, either when you're working with a child or with their parent?
This is going to probably sound really cliche. I'll just talk about maybe from a support work perspective first, but just the consistency or the routine, especially with ASD, ADHD, you know, keeping the same thing consistent. Now, that's even the approach. So one of the approaches that we use that I let all the families know, there are many different models you can use within both as a parent and as support work and whatnot. And our model we use is called the PACE model, which stands for playfulness, acceptance, curiosity, and empathy. And so we use that approach because we see that they're having a behavior, whatever it may be. Sometimes doing that strict, like, hey, don't do that, or we don't do that, is not the approach. Sometimes it's like, oh, what happened? And you could be playful around it. Like I had a young person when I was a support worker. He's like, I'm going to smash the wall. And I was like, oh, what did the wall do to you? And he was like, what? I said, oh, did the wall hurt you? What happened? And he was sort of like, no. And I said, well, before you smash the wall, if you want to smash the wall, okay. But before you smash it, how about you name the wall before you smash it? Because it's done something to you, does it? And he's like, no, Gene, I can't name it. And I was like, why? And he's like, because if I name it, I can't hurt it. And so I did that playful approach. Leading into that day, he had already put a few holes in the wall before then. So that's that sort of therapeutic way of trying to go about it. Also using that curiosity in that moment. Well, I'm curious to know what's actually going on for him and then sort of asking questions. So that PACE model is something that I discuss with families. I know as a parent myself that, hey, putting that in practice from a parent's point of view, sometimes when you've got a lot of things going on, it's not necessarily, well, I don't want to play right now, I need to be serious and something like that. But that consistency of doing it, for example, I've had support workers or even the participants where when the person has used the PACE model, when it has been time to be serious, they know it because they're approaching it differently. They're now approaching it in an empathetic way, So we never see the behavior as them as a bad kid, because sometimes that's what the view is. And it's a stigma that happens a lot of the times. They're just naughty. Or you speak to a bit of an older generation, oh, they just need a good this or they need a good that. When really, if we can show some level of curiosity in that space within that PACE model, or even acceptance, like we can show, we can be playful or we can be acceptance, but it doesn't mean that we have to agree with maybe their actions. Do you know what I mean? So I really base a lot of what I do off the PACE model when I'm working with kids and the parents as well. And what's really important, even with the support workers, is now I am very energetic and I'm very a bit out there. Now, if you're not, you play how you naturally play. So it's not about going, we all need to be smiley and happy faces like Gene, but it actually can be you do it naturally, what feels right for you. So we have a support worker who is a little bit more quiet and chill. They'll still be playful, but they may not be the playful as us. So long as they're themselves, that's really important because the kids feed off your nervous system. And that's probably another thing that's really important is regardless of what's going on, as so long as you're staying centered yourself, and that's not easy as a parent or as a support worker at times, but I think those are some of the things that I use or utilize with people is that sort of model. And I've been using it now for coming on 4 years, and the results are showing it for itself within our support workers. And it's no one's perfect at anything because sometimes we may be playful, but then other times actually we maybe need to show more curiosity in that moment. So it's just sort of using that model as we can. It's a bit fluid. It's not a one size fits all because every child is different and everyone has different triggers and things that are going on for them as well.
Yeah, it's good. It's a place to start though. And I love that it's an acronym because it makes it easy to remember. Because I'll definitely be able to remember PACE and I just have to remember playful, acceptance, curiosity, and empathy. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. And if you ever Google it, actually have come up as a parent model of care. That's actually what it comes up as. We've just noticed that. And, a lot of the time some people can do this naturally. And if it's not natural, that's totally okay. It is a skill that you can develop.
Yeah, awesome. Now, one of the things, like I said, we often weaved our life together, and you are also one of the co-founders of Connected Kidz, and you were one of the first people that believed in the vision of what we were doing, and it's come a long way over the years. And I think it's been mutually beneficial for both of us, for you being involved. So thank you for your belief and your vision back then. You have shown all throughout those years many times. So we have a course, a Melillo Method mentoring program where people can master the Melillo Method, which is what we do, our specific therapy with Connected Kidz. And you've known about it for a while. You were at university and doing lots of busy things, but every time I speak to you, even last week or 2 weeks ago, you said, I need to get the logins for that course again. I need to do that course again. So tell me, what has it been about the Melillo Method, despite, all this other study and experience that you've done? What is it you feel that keeps pulling you back to wanting to learn that?
Yeah, I think especially now that I work a lot with kids, even as a counselor, I do a lot of play therapies and things. And so I'm noticing, with the whole primitive reflexes with Dr. Melillo and all those things, I'm noticing the benefit. I guess I'm now actually in it and I'm actually seeing it. And a lot of the times parents are wanting advice or top tips on how to work with them, even as a counselor. And so I guess it's always come back to me. And obviously, also, as you know, my family members, one of them being my nephew. I always tell the story to some people around. My mum would travel and live in America and work over there. And when she would come back, she would see her grandson and she noticed a difference in him and she noticed a distinct difference. And she actually asked me, well, what's happened here? It seems like he's being able to process things. He's able to communicate better. He's able to do all these things. And that from 6 months ago to now, she noticed a difference. She had no idea what Connected Kidz was or anything like that. So I was able to explain to her the program that her grandson or my nephew went through and the difference that it actually made. And so I've definitely seen the results looking from the outside in, but now actually doing it myself. As a counselor, I can see the value in how Connected Kidz helps kids. And as a therapist myself, I can utilize the Melillo Method to be able to assist these clients. But I know that from this side of things, you're more of the expert, Josh. I think one of the questions I always ask you is, do you know any good OTs? Because that's a question we get asked a lot. One of the things we're currently doing in Adapticare is we're helping people go on the NDIS for the first time ever. And my business partner, Bella, is sort of more the driving force and amazing at that. And one of the first things they will ask us, even the other day, as soon as we came out of an NDIS meeting, can you get onto an OT for us? Now, we're not support coordinators and we don't specialize in that area. We sort of stay away from what we don't specialize in it. But I know it's a question I do ask you a lot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So if people are looking for a good OT, with Connected Kidz, we have a number of therapists that work with us, including OTs, and the therapy would be very similar to what you would do at an OT, but there are some specific and unique differences with what we do. So like you were mentioning, primitive reflexes is something that's becoming more popular that people are hearing about. That is the very foundation of development. So if you're doing other therapies, but you haven't addressed the foundation, you're leaving a lot on the table and you're not going to get as much benefit when it comes to brain development as you could. And so we work on primitive reflexes, we work on brain hemisphericity, which is where one side of the brain is usually stronger than the other. And this imbalance causes an imbalance of symptoms that you see in kids. So oftentimes the left side is the accelerator and the right side is like the brakes. And many of the kids that you would see, they've got lots of accelerator, maybe too much, and not enough brakes. And so what we can do is we can help to dampen that accelerator a little bit and bring those brakes up a little bit so that they can see balance in their child. And you just commented earlier about your nephew, that you were able to see those results. And the really cool thing is it doesn't take, years and years of therapy, which some people are used to, or they've been doing. We had a mum tell us recently, which we also did a podcast on her story, which you should definitely watch. It's an amazing story. And one of the things she said was that she saw more progress in the 4-month program with us than she did in 5 years of previous therapy. So that's the potential that we can see in our program at Connected Kidz.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just thinking as you were talking as well, like, some of the families we meet with, they've done a lot of research. They've done a lot of their own looking in. So some people like the idea of a drug-free program. And it's not that they don't want to use pharmaceutical things to be able to help them. Even as a counselor, people are like, oh, is it good? Is it not? Like, I have no say. I'm in a non-judgment space. Like, if that's what you need to use, go right ahead, But just allowing them to know that this program has a different approach, and whether you're using those things or not, you can see results happen, so to speak. And I think that's another thing that I really sort of serenade with the program as well from my end.
Yeah, for sure. So coming back to you, Gene, I'd love to know what your vision is for Adapticare in the next 5 years, or any other projects that you've got in the pipeline.
Yeah. So we're in the process of becoming a registered NDS provider. We're not just yet. So one of our goals is to actually bring the counseling aspect more in. So right now it's just myself. We're about to get a second person. Also, we're going to be also doing behavior support practitioner. Right now, we're working with another company that I was connected with. And so now what we're wanting to do is actually register. So we're going to do behavior support practitioner. We're going to then be providing counseling as well. And then moving forward, obviously our support work, we do community access right now, but we would like to get into sort of resi care as well. So those are sort of the long-term goals for us. Right now, at the heart of it, we're mainly doing counseling and community access at the moment. But that's sort of our bigger goals and our bigger dreams. And more importantly, the reason why our business is called Adapticare, and the reason why that is because we want to adapt to the care to the people that we support. And their needs become over everyone else's. And what we've noticed in the industry, some gaps. I worked at a company and it sort of hurt my soul a little bit, where I worked with a company and they also owned a cafe and they were getting food from the cafe to bring to this house. Now, the thing is, the participant that I worked with, who was 7 years old, nonverbal, a sweet, sweet young girl, and she didn't eat 98% of that food, practically barely anything. And I had a conversation with the CEO or the director of the company, and she said, they're really gourmet and they're really this and they're really that, but it didn't matter. And so they actually cut down their funding for a little while, this little girl's funding, but she didn't eat any of the food. And so for me, that really frustrated me because it was the cheaper option for them, but it wasn't right for that young person. And so what we really want to do is make sure that whatever's happening is that the people that we support and the families we support, they're at the forefront of what we do. And if that means sometimes that there is some tweaking and sacrificing from our side, we'll do it because we want to put their needs above everyone else's, like above our own, so to speak, and make sure they're getting the right support.
Absolutely love the needs-based approach is so important. And I know this isn't just a marketing thing for you because, like I said, we've known each other for many, many years. And I know that, you're someone people can trust. So if people are, listening to this and they're looking for support work or counsellor services, is it just in that area of North Brisbane, or is it something that in other areas, or with the counselling you do online? Can you tell us how people can get in touch with you and access your services?
Yeah, so right now, the support work side of things is sort of North Brisbane. We are venturing to the south a little bit, but with the counseling, I can do it online. You can be anywhere in the world. I have done that as well, other than having some Zoom issues with today. But yes, with my counseling, I do also relationship counseling as well. And also specifically working with men who may be having their struggles in fatherhood and whatnot as well. Because part of my degree, I did a Bachelor of Counseling, minor in coaching. So part of my role, actually, part of my degree is I do mindset coaching as well. And so I do a bit of sports and athletes and like that. I've helped a few work their way through their navigating from young now into professional sports as well. To be honest, I got a broad range of things that I can do. And because I'm person-centered, meaning I really focus on whatever the person needs, I don't always need to be the expert, but I know how to facilitate the right conversations, whether that be counseling and going in deep, or whether that be coaching and focusing on the future, the here and now to the future. So yeah, you can get us on our website at Adapticare, www.adapticare.com.au, or our Facebook and Instagram we have as well. So that's where you can find us and some of the things that we're doing. And yeah.
We'll keep up the good work. Highly, highly recommend reaching out to Gene and Adapticare if you need any of their services. I appreciate your time, Gene. Great to catch up. Love the tips, the pace.
Yeah. Playfulness,
playful,
acceptance,
curiosity, and empathy. So thanks for that. Yeah, I'm going to try and use that as a parent today. And just to finish off, is there one sentence or one message you could leave people who are listening to this today? What would it be?
Like for me, a big thing is just knowing for those parents who are really trying to do everything that you're not alone, that there's no perfect way to do something, but the fact that you're showing up and you're doing your best for your kids, honestly, I've just sat there sometimes with parents who are really emotional and just genuinely let them know that they're awesome and that they're doing a great work, because I think that's a real big message is there's no perfect way to do something. And we're here just to support you in whatever ways that we can to elevate you and more importantly, bring the quality of life to those beautiful young people and also the parents as well.
100%. Amazing work, Jane. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. All right. Cheers, mate.
Thanks so much for listening to the Connected Kidz podcast. Hope you got some great value out of this episode. If you're ready to get started, please visit our website, connectedkids.com.au, whether you're a parent with NDIS funding wanting us to work with your child, or whether you're a therapist wanting to start implementing this in your clinic. Until next time, let's keep inspiring change one child at a time.